Before we get going with today's episode, in celebration of Vicious Mustang 2.0 debuting at SEMA 2023, we've done a collaborative effort to make a really cool Vicious Mustang Autotopia LA shirt and hat. So it'll go live on October 31st, Halloween at 5 p.m. at atlamerch.com. I highly recommend, if you like the shirt, the hat, or both, atlamerch.com, 5 p.m. when the video goes live on Halloween, October 31st. So let's jump into today's episode. Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. We're still up here in Bakersfield with my friend Roger, Ironworks Speed and Custom. We're gonna shoot this one a little different than our traditional shoot because along with doing the crazy one-off customs that Roger and his company does, they're doing this, we'll call them production, you're calling them your production line of Chevelles kind of, right?
I haven't been able to find.
Don't even have a name yet.
I haven't even figured out anything fancier. That kind of tells what it is, it explains what we're doing.
I kind of dig it personally.
I wanted to build a car that we could get ahead of the game a little bit. Something, we're not trying to stress ourselves out on every car. And something I could redo over and over and over. I could train people on also. I could take younger people, make tasks that are easier to do, and just reproduce it over and over. So we wanted to make these cars that weren't meant to be show-winning cars. They're meant to be nice cars. They're meant to look badass. We have 5 cars in the works. 3 of them are patina cars. No, 2 are patina cars, and 1 is a painted car. The painted car's at the body shop right now. Number 4 is ready to go to the body shop after this. We're trying to put them on a 90-day cycle where they go through the paint shop in 90 days. So as we do it, it just becomes a repetitive thing to where I can mass produce these gauge clusters, I can mass produce these carbon dash pads, I can mass produce these interiors to where some guy's not having to make every single flipping part.
Right.
So you can have these one-off car results, but you also have a car that is producible.
So the simple is, it's the concept that we see Icon do or some of the other low volume manufacturers where there's a couple of options, right? Like you could do more than 2 options, but the basic is 2 wheel choices, 6 interior colors, but the same interior.
Yep, same interior, same seats.
If it's a painted car, there's 10 different colors. There's not endless colors.
Yep.
It's a replicatable vehicle, low production manufacturer.
You're just putting a leash on the creativity and expanding on the things that make it work really well.
And for the guy that wants to drive a Chevelle that doesn't look like a one-off, also doesn't have the cost involved with a crazy one-off.
Yep.
But yet, mechanically, everything about this is modernized.
Yeah, this
from
is
ground up.
This is LT4 direct injected, the latest, greatest internal combustion engine you can buy. Probably one of the last ones.
Still stock, so the
Still
650
stock. 650 horsepower as is.
Yep.
We can put bigger blowers on them. We can put pulleys on them. We can do those types of things. This is a 10-speed automatic car. The car behind us is a 6-speed manual.
Yep.
Short of the paint and the fact that that one is a 70 and this one is a 71, but this is such a clean car that we didn't want to mess it up.
I can't believe, by the way, you guys, this car, the gold one we're driving in right now, it is the original paint on this car from 1971. So, okay, mechanically, so LT4 made it to either the 6-speed or the 10-speed that comes from GM, right?
Yep.
Exactly what you would get in a ZL1 Camaro.
Exactly what you'd get. I mean, it uses a GM computer. The chassis under this is an independent front and rear suspension car. We've got custom shock valving in the front and rear that we did to achieve this ride quality. The first 5 cars are based on a SpeedTech chassis, the independent front and rear suspension, JRI shocks. It's got gear effects rear differentials in them that have been rim polished and sound tested, everything to make them as absolutely quiet as possible as you can, and to make them where they'll live on the road. This car currently has 1,980 miles on it at this point. No, 2,040, sorry. So 2,040 miles on this thing. We drove it on the road tour from Loveland, Colorado, back to Bakersfield. It had 140 miles on it when we left Loveland.
And now you're just over 2,000.
And now I'm just over 2,000. I drove it to the car show for the Plastic Cup Boys a couple weeks ago down to LA and back.
Yep.
We've had a really good time just finding the loose ends. You know, we had an issue with the CV joints. They just don't seem to live. And so now we're going to another brand of CV joints to make sure this thing is proper. It is meant to be driven. I want to be able to feel solid enough I could get in this car with my 2 girls and my wife, minimal tools. I'll take a cell phone for safety, but I feel like I could drive this wherever I wanted to go.
Well, I think it says a lot, dude. The idea that you guys just drove close to 2,000 miles. And how many of them did you have on the trip?
I had 6 cars on the tour. So 6.
But of the Chevelles.
There were these 2 Chevelles, and then the original Chevelle was on there also.
Got it. What is your gearing on this?
This car's a 370, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
And so with the 10-speed, it becomes very favorable to, I think at 80 miles an hour, this thing's like 2,000 RPMs.
Wow,
It
man.
just barely, but it makes so much low-end torque. It's just super nice. You're rolling along, and we're at 50 at 1,800 RPMs. It just shifted again. Now we're at 1,500.
Yeah.
It always is hunting the lowest gear.
Yeah. You're using a lot of the stuff straight from GM as far as that goes. The engine, trans, the ECU.
The engine, trans, the ECU. We have obviously tuned the engine. We are going back and refining the tuning in the 10-speed transmission for this application, which is quite a process, but we're getting that dialed. It shifts fine, but it's just not optimum yet.
Got it.
We're really trying to make this thing where the strong point of this car is the function. When you sit in the car, after you saw me in the Mustang a little bit ago, and now you see me in this car, I could drive this thing wherever.
No, I know. I'm looking at how comfortable. The Mustang, you were curled up into a ball to fit in there.
Yes.
Boy, you're screwed on cars.
Oh, dude.
You don't fit in shit, do you? So as far as because the exhaust tone on this is wonderful, is that still like GM manifold?
Nope. It's got mid-length headers. It's got full-length exhaust. It's got MagnaFlow mufflers with resonators. Lots of straight pipe sections, so you don't have a lot of bends and curves that create noise.
Mm-hmm. You guys build all that in-house?
We build all that in-house.
Yeah.
MagnaFlow has interest in doing the exhaust, but I got to get to the point of doing 20 units. We're just trying to get through the first 5. We've developed all the interior. You'll notice this piece on the back of my seat is 3D printed. That's the new seat cover that I'm having made in carbon. These are seats from wrecked 2016 to 2020 Camaros.
Oh,
So
really?
DJ Designs in Northern California that you just did the Porsche video on.
Dude, those guys are
he did the
amazing.
seats in here. We shaved them up a little bit, but we left all the factory foam because it's bitchy.
This is definitely like I get how you could drive this car every day. It's and I can't wait to get in the driver's seat because already just from sitting over here, the way it feels on the road, the sound that it's making, the sound I'm hearing from the engine, it very much, I told you I had a 2017 CL1 Camaro. It kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Except for it looks bitchin'. Not that those don't, but you know what I mean. It's like
There's just something cooler about
you're
it.
in an old school Chevelle, man.
Yes, and it sits good. It's got big wheels and tires. It sits low. It's got the stance.
What is your wheel tire setup on this? Because they're bitchin', dude.
This is 19 by 11 in the front and 20 by 12 and a half.
What are the tire sizes to go with your wheels?
285, 35, 19, and 345, 30, 20.
Oh, I didn't know it was that big of a meat.
Yeah.
Did you just say big meat?
I gotta say, it's funny because they're identical cars other than obviously the couple of things, manual versus auto and wheel choice, right? But the black looks more like a modified car. This really, to me, it's a 71 Chevelle that somebody cut the coil springs on and to lower it a little bit. That's what it looks like. The old steely wheels on here look bitchin'.
Well, the paint is in such good shape that we were honestly worried that people were going to think we chose this color to paint it.
And by the way, you guys, there's a lot of stuff still unfinished. We'll show you the interior of the car, obviously, under the hood of the car. There's unfinished stuff like your intake, right?
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that for tuning purposes, the tube was long enough that everything was right before I powder coated it.
Right.
And so there's just things that we're still finalizing on the cars. I wanted to show you the depth of what we're going to make a nice Chevelle, to where it's not that crappy plastic thing you're going to buy that comes in the car to replace the dash pad, or you're not trying to find a stock one. We made one that fits this gauge cluster. We made this gauge cluster to fit proper gauges, to fit proper stereos. You're not trying to figure out how to bodywork plastic and make those things go together. We're trying to really make this where it's a comfortable car. I made the console out of carbon so that when you lay your leg up against it, it doesn't feel like flimsy crap.
Because I'm doing it right now.
Yes.
And everybody does in this car, right?
And it doesn't feel like you're going to hurt it. It's designed to fit a soda. It
Yeah.
fits exactly the soda. You know, we are working on processes to paint these things because we have a really cool texture powder coat, but the powder coat is not as precise as we would like, and you have to blast the material before to get the texture that we want on it. And so we're working through the process of getting everything to do on a small scale production, but to get the results that we want from a high-end car.
Yeah. Oh man, it just eats the bumps,
Just
doesn't
needs
it?
some bumps. Does not feel like a 71 Chevelle.
It really doesn't, bro. I've driven 70, 71, all original collector.
Oh, they're terrible.
They're awful. Sorry for you lovers
Yeah.
of all the collectibles, but I like this where it gives me that look, but I get all the modern drivability,
Yeah.
minus all the granny assist that we don't want to be there, right?
Yep.
So brakes on this, are you GM stuff?
No, this is a Wilwood 14-inch, 6-piston calipers. This car is a power brakes. The other car with a manual transmission is manual brakes.
So that would be another option when somebody orders
Yes.
the cars. I want manual, I want power.
Well, if you get the manual transmission, you get the manual brakes.
Hey, you guys, I'm back with Stefan from Liqui Moly for Tech Talk number 2.
All right, Sean, today we have our ProLine engine flush. Super simple to use and very, very effective. Has a lot of positives for your engine. What you do with this is you add it to your old oil immediately before you're gonna drain the oil for an oil change.
Okay.
And run it for 10 to 15 minutes at idle. This will clean out the internals of the engine, remove sludge, remove deposits, and the side effect is less friction, less wear. And the reason for that is because deposits are abrasive. If you can remove them, you are improving the engine's longevity.
So it sounds like it's simple to use and super effective.
Very, very simple.
Well, there you go, guys. There's Tech Talk number 2 from Liqui Moly. Dude, it's a trip how this feels on the road. I can't wait to drive this damn car, man.
So this is our usual test track. Up here, there's a nice little bump that we always hit to check how much it bottoms out.
Oh yeah, I see it coming.
Boing, boing,
Boom.
boing, boing.
Boom. No bottoming at all. Between
No
you
bottoming,
and me,
no
we got
squirrely.
probably somewhere over 400 pounds.
I kept one hand on the wheel and never felt out of sorts enough that I'm like grabbing the wheel, anything.
So speaking of the wheel, that was something else you were talking, because there's a lot in the interior that is proprietary to your production Chevelle.
Yes.
From the door panels, the dash pad, the dash itself, the gauge cluster, the gauges, all this stuff, including the speedo. This one you said right now it's 3D printed for paddles. Paddles not working right now. There's
a hang up apparently in the tuning with whoever makes the controller and the GM computer that Bowler Transmissions is trying to sort through, because we're the first person to put the paddle shifters on here. So we designed everything around it. There's a few 3D printed parts that are in here that we're waiting on to come back from aluminum, because we wanted to refine the design and see what that was. We wanted to see how this felt with the paddles, that they're where you want them when you want to use them, but that they're also where you want them when you don't want to use them.
so they're out of the way.
So they're out of the way.
bothering you and impeding on your fingers and what have you. Yeah. Full AC blast. We don't even have it blasting. You guys, we're keeping the AC down for audio purposes, but the reality is,
It's fine.
bro, I'm
It's cold.
comfortable. We're what, 85 degrees up here today or something?
It's probably,
like that?
yeah, 85.
I mean, it feels like it to me.
You know, there's a ton of heat control stuff in this, tons of insulation. That's where I wanted to show you these cars as they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can show them when they're done and be like, oh, that's super cool and all this, but I wanted to show the effort that's going into this to make it different than anything else that you've seen, especially for a production car.
All right, so this is uber mellow driving. Car feels great.
Yep.
Now we can get on it a little bit.
Yeah, that's not even true.
I know, that was
If you nail that one spot, it goes from like nothing to scary.
The sounds that it makes really does remind me of the ZL1 Camaro.
It does, huh?
God dang, this is just comfortable to sit in here though, man.
Yeah, these are just the SS seats.
And you said the only thing cut down is the headrest?
Yeah.
Got it. Wow. All right, a little more foot for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bro,
Told you.
Tell you what, man, you guys definitely got your suspension tuned like crazy on this thing, huh?
There's a rough spot up here as you start to climb the hill. You'll feel that thing. We've spent a lot of time driving it on this road and tuning it and working on valving and spring rates and getting the percentages of everything right to achieve what we got going.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Some big ones there, huh?
Dude, that's some shitty road right there.
There's another one.
Oh, God.
The big one.
Dude, and this is just eating it up. No bottoming out.
Nothing.
No bump steering at all. I mean, that's really some rough road there, dude.
That piece right there was Baja, California.
That was pretty nasty right there, man. So somebody comes to you, right? They've got this car, bone stock, 396 car, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So if it's a solid car, the variable is taking the car to making it rust free. So dealing with whatever damage is in the car that you got to deal with. If the car's a patina car and you're going to keep the paint, then we can deal with that. We do a lot of modifications to the floor. Pretty much everything from the firewall to the trunk most all of it is replaced to countersink the floors, to give you the seating position that you're in. Just creating room for the IRS and the big tires and mini tubbing it and putting the fuel tank in the trunk so it doesn't hang way below the car. And so once you get the car to that position, then it's just a matter of all the other parts. If you're talking a car without paint and you're not dealing with rust, the starting is probably 375 to 400.
When this car is fully finished out, this is about a 375 car?
This car is probably 450, 500 with all the stuff that's here, because you got paddle shifters, you've got 10-speed, you got LT4, the automatic transmission is more expensive because you have the 10-speed automatic. You've got a lot of other stuff there's really no stone left unturned in this car.
Got it. But zero paint and body done on this car.
Zero paint and body, but you paid for the car in buying a much better car.
Right.
You know, we're in the car $38,000, I think, to have it delivered. After we bought the car, you know, this was an 18,000 original mile car that we probably should have been shot for cutting it up. But I mean, there's $160,000 in parts here. I mean, maybe even more. I mean, these door panels are $2,000 to be made out of carbon.
Yep.
This dash pad is like $1,900. This is a $4,000 billet gauge cluster. You know, these inserts here are $2,000 to be machined. You know, these come from big ass chunks of aluminum. But I mean, you got $4,000 shocks on this thing. The motor in this thing is $18,000 roughly anymore. You got a $3,000 engine controller. The chassis is $30,000. Wheels are $8,000. Tires are another $2,000. Like, it just adds up super quick with all the parts.
So you said you're what, 150 plus in parts?
Oh, 150 to 175 in parts, easily. But it's got the best of everything. Like, it's got big brakes, it's got forge line wheels, it's got, you know, it's got a Speedtech chassis, it's got JRI shocks, it's got an LT4, a brand new 10-speed. These steering wheels are $3,500 to have machined.
Are they really?
Yes. The ring is $720 to have machined, just to do the ring. Then you got to have somebody wrap it, and that's, you know, sewing all that takes us so much time.
Yeah.
You know,
the size of this wheel, by the way, is really bitching for the driver position. You know, it's like, it feels right.
It feels right.
Smaller would have felt a little weird.
Yes, it's got the D's in here to put your fingers. We just move the paddles back to get them away from your fingers.
Yep. And you're right. The paddles would be right here if I was going to use them, and if not, they haven't bothered me. Not one. I forgot that they were there until you just said that.
And we just changed them because they were a half inch closer to the steering wheel. But there's 6 or 7 hours in just getting the dash painted with this texture black. So we have the first one is done. We now have a system on how to do it, and we're doing the rest of the dashes now.
Yeah.
So I'll be getting all the rest of the interior done and sending this car up to, you know, have the rest of the upholstery done, put in the headliner, and put in all those parts.
And you said, by the way, this is factory headliner in here from 1971.
That is the original headliner that was in this car.
There's a lot of hardcore Chevelle guys pissed off at you about this car, I'll bet.
The foam that would be like between the plastic dash and the mounts was still springy. This car was unlike any car we've ever taken apart, of just how nice it was.
I can't get over how this car drives. I mean, bro, look, I'm driving no hands for the last couple hundred feet.
60 miles an hour on a rough-ass oil-filled road.
Dude, this is so impressive. I mean, this is, if I owned one of these, I think I'd be probably wanting to daily drive this car. It doesn't feel like Uber show car. Oh,
No.
I heard a rock hit the body. Let's pull over and make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. When you go on a road tour, we just clean the windshield.
I get it, dude. Most places, you're parking this car. Ah, look at that cool old Chevelle that's lowered.
Yeah.
That's all. You got no idea that it's a
monster.
Close to a $500,000 car.
and it's a blast to drive and has the latest technology in it. And you know, it's got heads-up display gauges. It's got, you know, power windows. It's got heated and cooled seats. It's got, I mean,
And by the way, guys, powered seats.
powered seats.
I mean, which cracks me up, dude. You wouldn't. You saw me reaching for the.
I know. Yeah. It's on the side there. It's electric. Did you find it?
Yeah, I forgot that it was electric, dude. No wonder you guys are doing these, man. My guess, you'll probably have huge success with it, you know?
I'm not sure I want to get crazy with these. I still enjoy building the cars that we do. I'd like to get to
So
the
you
point.
don't want to become a company that this is all you do because you're so busy you can't do the other stuff anymore.
No, I mean, there's a point where I could see that could be a very profitable business in doing that, but I want to build the best ones. If we're going to build the production cars, I want to build the best production cars.
Oh, bro, I'm in love. God dang. Not like I'm hauling ass, but I'm going 60 miles an hour through a 45-mile-an-hour turn
On
rough road.
They haul semi
And the only
trucks
reason
down
I
this
put
every
my
day.
second hand up was purely being polite to you to make sure you know I'm driving the car.
Yeah,
It really does. I mean, it's wild how much this feels like a modern car.
I think a good portion of that is just seat foam. I really never had any idea of how much the seat really plays into it, and spring rates and stuff like that of just getting the whole package dialed. The ergonomics, where the seat is, the tilt column stays just where it is. You can see everything.
What was your timeline of develop? I mean, I get it. You built the one car a long time ago that inspired you to create this production line.
I think we bought this car the end of 2021, and I think we started kind of processing through this early last year.
But is this the test mule as far as like this is
This is number
the
one.
original? This is number one. Thank you.
This is number one. Number two is behind us. Number three is at the body shop. Number four is ready to go to the body shop after number three. Number four, I want to do green interior with green exterior. I don't even like green, but I think that would be super cool. But I mean, everything would be the same. You know,
Yeah.
the gauge cluster is still the same texture code.
Same seats, same everything. It's
Everything
the
else
same
is green.
car.
So
I noticed on that poster you hung up, you know, that shows the options. There's these colors for interior, these colors for exterior, these wheel choices. And I get it. People can go outside of the framework that's on that poster, right? But personally, I was sitting here going, I'll bet you he sells more red or black interiors than any of the other interior colors.
100%.
You know that.
I mean, number two is a black with white stripes car with red interior. Number three is a black with white stripes car with black interior. Singer has the rules where they don't paint any cars the same color. Man, you cannot beat a black Chevelle. You know, we want to make great looking cars, and if there winds up being a dozen black ones with white stripes, man, those are badass cars.
So you guys, Roger said he didn't want to do our traditional interview, walk around, talk about the car, unless I drove the car first, because he wanted me to experience. It's not a car they're building so you can sit back and go, wow, 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 at all the crazy fab work and all the crazy metal and the perfect paint and body and da 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 da. This is a car about the driving experience, 100%.
And now you understand why I said that.
I get it.
That we're not showing the same stuff. The walk around is cool, but it's not. I mean, Chevy did most of what's on the exterior, and they did it well. I want to make these cars where you pull up in traffic and that guy in the Maverick truck next to us is hating on us because, you know, he knows this thing's cool, and yet we can drive it down the highway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get how you guys just went and put 2,000 miles on each one of these cars and didn't really have to think about anything.
No, it was great. I mean, my guys did a killer job prepping the last two cars. We offloaded the first car in Loveland, Colorado with 40 miles on it and drove it all the way home from Loveland, Colorado to Bakersfield. We drove the last day from Salt Lake City all the way back to Bakersfield.
It's crazy,
And
bro.
we're just doing stuff that is tried and true. You know, the fuel systems are all the same. The controllers, everything that's doing it, we've done multiple times on previous cars.
Yeah.
We're just putting years of experience together to build these custom cars with the right combination of parts.
So the other question I had asked earlier, but we didn't have cameras going at the time, and I think it's an important one, dude, is along with the price being somewhere between $375 on up to $450-ish, call it, right?
$450, $500.
Now somebody brings you this car, there's no paint and body needed, no rust repair needed, it's get to work, build the car. What'd you say the timeline was on that?
Probably 6 months, depending on the amount of cars that are in front of you. You know, first
Yeah.
come, first serve.
But if there's nobody waiting in line,
There's
right?
nobody in line. I can do it in 6 months.
6 months, and it's this turnkey driver car.
Yes, this kind of turnkey driver. If you got to go to paint, you got to add 90 days to it. You got a little bit more work to do just to get through that process.
Sure.
But I have cars that are getting ready to go into paint and body. We're either just going to pick a color and hope it sells, or we're going to leave them in body work. So when a guy comes, we've got some cars ready to go.
It's ready to go. They just need to paint it and reassemble. I'm flat fucking impressed with this car. Probably better than just about any custom car I've ever driven. Man, I was so excited coming up here to Ironworks to shoot the Mustang, and I love the Mustang. It's stunning, it's beautiful, it's radical. I mean, that's a radical car. This is a car I would drive every single day, not even a question. The drivability of this, it's literally like drive. It reminds me so much of my ZL1 Camaro, other than that it looks like a bitchin' 71 Chevelle that's been lowered. That's all it looks like. It's so simple from the exterior, yet there's so much going on to make this. What a wonderful driver car, man. Totally blown away by this production line of Chevelles from the Ironworks guys, and hope you guys enjoyed this one, man. I will see you in the next one. All right, you guys, later.